Hey, Joey Starr here. It's a Saturday, it's nice out, and I'm about to have one of my vlog-worthy adventures. And I'm not going to talk too much about it because I think sometimes showing is better than telling. This happens to be one of those times, so everything's going to be kind of on the cuff, spur of the moment. So for starters, I'm going to drive into Monticello, pick up a friend, and get this adventure started. All right, so I'm in a secret location in Monticello, and I just picked this gentleman over here. I know you're thinking, oh, they're going to a show? They must be going to another concert. No, we're not going to a concert. This time we're going to be going to a movie, special movie.
A movie?
Yep.
What movie?
Oh, you know the one with that guy that was in that movie that came out last year?
Wait a minute, isn't that every movie though?
It might be, but what movie do you think that's out now that might fit that description?
Oh, I got it. Clerks 3.
You got it, bud.
Woo.
All right, so that's the deal with that. We're gonna go drive there now. Keep this part short because we're gonna yap about it later.
Smoochy boochies.
I saw this meme. I was going to send it to you. It's downloaded to my phone. You know, maybe I should hold off on telling you. I think you'll enjoy the meme better if I don't tell you ahead of time. It's something to do with Connecticut, though. I thought you'd find it funny. Connecticut. The movie's at 7. Of course, we want to be a little bit early because we want to be able to get seats and stuff and get popcorn
On your roof.
Yeah.
On the hood.
Dude, you know that's going to end up going in the vlog, but we just didn't know.
Yep. It's like somebody telling you drive carefully. I'm like, no, I wasn't going to. You just said it to me.
There. Watch out, don't hit any deer. Yeah, oh man, I was really looking forward to running right into one of those suckers. I love the thought of demolishing my car. We're about a mile left.
Mile? Nice. Mile?
Take this moment to say a couple of things about the movie we're going to see. Those that have been living under a rock for the last couple of decades, if you never heard of Clerks before, I'm really sorry for your situation and hope that you'll do something about it because you're totally missing out. But that being said, Clerks was an independent film made in black and white for particular reasons. Came out in the 1990s. Instant cult following. I remember hearing about it, just hanging out with college friends, and they were talking about this movie Clerks, black and white, blah, blah, blah. Sounded like fun. Didn't actually get to see it for like at least 10 or so years later. I gotta tell you, whatever amount of time it was from when I heard about it till I watched it, that was time missed. The movie is a freaking classic. It deserves the hype that it gets. You know, there's a lot of movies that like become cult classics and you watch them, you're just kind of like, it's all right. But no, in this particular case, it lives up to the hype. It goes beyond the hype. I think one of the things I really love about the original movie, as well as the sequel and all the other movies branching out from it, is that the director, creator, Kevin Smith, his movie efforts are very honest. It's really the best way I can describe it. He makes very relatable films. You watch it and it's like you or people that you know. Obviously exaggerated versions because they're comedies, of course. That's why you go to the movies. I mean, if it was too realistic, you can just live your own life. It's usually very clever, very honest. Many years later, Clerks 2 came out, which was, by the way, many years ago now. I can't remember the exact year off the top of my head, but worth the wait. Excellent sequel, arguably better than the first movie. There's certain things about the first movie that makes it stand out, and maybe I like those little bits more overall, but in generally speaking, as a movie itself, better budget, more time to work on it. Kevin's on top of his game making the movie. Great sequel. It's at that level of superior sequel in comparison to like Empire Strikes Back is to Star Wars. Like really that kind of like jump up in quality. That kind of sequel. Very glad he made it, and it took many years, but now tonight, as we mentioned before, we're going to see now the third movie, the second sequel, Clerks 3. And not for nothing, between you and him and I, Rotten Tomatoes has already given it 95% rating. All right, let that sink in for a minute. 95% rating. There's a pretty good chance a movie does not suck at all. I'm just saying, 95% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, you know, they're brutal. They're brutal. If the movie doesn't live up to the hype, they would tear that down, and they're lifting it up. So, there you go. All you, baby.
Cool. So yeah, this should be interesting. I remember seeing the first film, of course, years later, and I really liked it so much. I watched it again and again, and I know the lines pretty much by heart. The second film, Clerks 2, was even as funny as the first. And then watching Jay and Silent Bob, you know, all the other movies that branch off to it, Chasing Amy and Dogma, seeing Clerks 3 being made now, as far as long as the first two movies went, and knowing now that it's got a 95% rating by Rotten Tomatoes, I mean, what more can you say? You have Kevin Smith, you've got all the classic people from the first two films, you have Jay and Silent Bob. I mean, come on. It's definitely going to be funny.
As Greg pointed out, Clerks was the start of basically what's known among fans as the View Askew-universe. All of these movies, these branch-offs that had their own sequels, and they all just kind of interconnect into one universe. And that's what's great, too. At this point, if you follow all the movies, then what happens is you go to watch a movie like this, and you get all these great cameos. People that were in past movies, people that were in other movies of Kevin. Let's put it this way. It's Ben Affleck, of course, is going to have a small part in this movie, just like he did in the last Jay and Silent Bob movie, which was last year. And he's big enough now to where if his heart wasn't in it, if he didn't feel like, hey, you know, these are guys that I love, this is a franchise I love, he wouldn't be in it. He totally has the clout right now to be picky about it. And you can tell by his appearances in the previous movies, you know, he's having a great time. He's revisiting an old love, if you will. So we really look forward to seeing this. So we didn't get a lot of time to discuss it while it was happening because we ate before going off to see this great movie, and then somebody, Joey, didn't realize how close the time was getting to showtime at the theater. Thank goodness that the segment that we were filming at the restaurant was literally a 60-second walk from the theater. But everything happens for a reason. Really quick, I'm not going to make this a big review video like we do for our concerts because this is just kind of a vlog thing. Well, we went to go see Clerks 3, which you already knew. I just want to make a couple of quick comments about the Storytime Theater in Beacon. I thought it was a charming little theater, a little different than I expected. Not as big as like an AMC or Regal or Lowe's or anything like that. And actually, that kind of made it a good thing. It felt like a good personal touch. You walk in, you don't have a separate line for like checking your tickets and stuff. It happens at the concession stand. They just kind of checked you in, told you where to go, you went around, and then I wonder what that building was before it was a theater. Because it's just that orientation seemed kind of odd. You go down this hall and you have these doors. They look like a corridor in like a high school in a way, except the doors don't have windows to see inside of. And any other setting, I would think janitor closet, utility room, whatever. But no, it's like theater 1, theater 2, theater 3, and then you walk in there and the theater's really not that wide. Each of those little theaters, it felt more personal. How many people you think that thing would seat? Like 30 people maybe 40 if it's full.
I was going to say about
25, yeah? Like not a big amount, and that was fine. Seats are comfortable, nice and wide, cushiony. They went back a little bit, but they didn't stay back. So to me, it felt like if you wanted to lay back like this, you'd have to dig in your feet, and then that's not really relaxed because you got to hold yourself up. But since we sat in the front, we were able to put our legs up on the railing there, so I felt like as far as comfort went, we had the best seats in that little theater. Quick notes about the movie. First of all, thoroughly enjoyed the movie. It was definitely a Clerks movie. Definitely a Kevin Smith movie. In the Monte Cristo, it's actually a very interesting food item because it kind of plays off like you're getting pancakes or French toast, but it also kind of plays off like it's a sandwich because it's on French toast, but it has turkey and ham. And although it is French toast, it looks more Texas toast style, but then you gotta put butter and syrup on there. It's an anomaly. It's like the platypus of breakfast food. Which makes it ideal for, not that it's really late night, but later night, past dinner, post movie food. By the way, if you're wondering, we're at the Alexis Diner in Newburgh. which of course will be listed in the description box below. Wasn't planning on reviewing the food, but this Monte Cristo is delish. So anyway, what was I saying with the movie? Definitely a Clerks movie in terms of writing style, in terms of theme, worthy sequel, worthy third part of a trilogy. I don't want to say too much about the plot because I think it's just something that you guys should go see on your own. If you're a fan of the first movie and or the second movie, then it's definitely worth checking out. Unfortunately, it's only in theaters. It started on Tuesday and is only going on until tomorrow night. So definitely by the time this video is out, it'll probably already be out on DVD. So there's your excuse to go out and get the DVD or rent it. Or as far as the movie goes, satisfying amount of cameos. In fact, there was a scene when they rushed through a whole bunch of different people. And there was a lot of great cameos in there. Well-known actors, some a little lesser known. More importantly, I can't remember how many were in that one scene. It was a lot, like at least 10 or so. And I'm thinking every single one of them, if not every single one of them, almost every single one of them has been in other Kevin Smith movies. Not necessarily Clerks sequels, but definitely other View Askew movies. A couple of them as recent as the last movie, which was Jay Silent Bob's reboot, including my girl, Melissa Benoist there. I was happy to see her, and she was hilarious in her bit. And I think I mentioned before that Ben Affleck was going to be in there. He was pretty funny too. Some other cool cameos and other scenes too. What I really appreciated is that for fans of the movies, one of the things you got to like about Kevin Smith is that he makes his movies in such a way that they're entertaining to people who haven't seen the previous films, but if you have seen the previous films, if you are a fan and pay attention to his stuff, you're well rewarded with the little Easter eggs he has scattered throughout the movie, especially things in the background. It's not a spoiler to say that the convenience store that's in the first movie and at the end of the second movie, of course, is very much featured in this movie. Why wouldn't it be? Just stuff like products that are on the shelves or in the freezers and stuff. Big throwback not only to the other Clerks movies, but the other movies too. Even the most recent Jay Silent Bob reboot, there's like products that were featured in that film that made it into this film, and I thought that was really cool. Really nice touch. That's the kind of thing that brings me to Kevin Smith movies and stuff like that. One of the things that makes it stand out, without going into details, because I don't want to give any spoilers to this movie, is that really funny, of course, because it is a comedy and it's a Clerks comedy, but also there was a range of emotions that you feel watching the movies. There was definitely some scenes that have real tearjerkers, things that really blow you up if you're invested in these characters like we are. I mean, the second one had a part that was kind of like that too, but this was like the goal of a sequel, to be bigger and better, so the emotional parts are more emotional. That's kind of my take on that, other than to say I had a great time, and I will drop a link down below at the theater and where we ate and where we're eating now, blah blah blah. But I can see that Greg is ready to speak his part, and I'm very interested myself to hear it. All right, Bubba.
Hey guys, like Joe said, came back from the film. It was really good. There was a lot of great humor in it, but also, as Joe was reiterating, if you're a fan of Kevin Smith in general, Kevin Smith is like us. He's a fan of movies. He's a fan of pop culture. He's not going to be the one to shy away from not giving things to the fans who watch his films and follow his work. There were definitely a lot of Easter eggs. There was so much in there that you would probably have to watch the movie 2 or 3 times to catch all the Easter eggs in the film.
Definitely.
The other thing is, because we're so entangled in these characters, yes, there was so much humor in the first and second films, but as these characters have grown, you tend to grow with the characters. So there's not only the comedic end of it, there's also the dramatic end of it. You can definitely see how these characters have grown from 1994 to now. So the movie was great. The theater, I think, is an independent movie theater that do little mini local films. So I think that's why there's multiple theaters in there that are small for independent screenings. I was reading a little bit about that on their website.
Me too.
And because Beacon, New York is a very artsy town, I think that theater reflects that. I would definitely catch more movies over there in that area. Yeah, it's a really nice place, plus the restaurant we ate was really good. I would definitely recommend that too. Yeah, so this movie, I definitely liked it a lot. It made me laugh a lot more. And again, if you're a fan of these films, you tend to feel attached to these characters and what the characters go through in these movies. Not to spoil anything, but there were moments where it pulled on your heartstrings. Any good movie does that. I definitely can't wait to see if it comes out on Blu-ray or whatever, because I definitely will watch it again and own it in my own collection. That's my take on it.
First of all, thanks to Greg for his input. I thought that was pretty cool, pretty insightful. It's a pretty good mood for a guy who wasn't even supposed to be here today. But hey, you know, That's what life is, a series of down endings.
Yep.
If you're completely lost right now, I'm just dropping lines from the first film because I love that film so much. It's so quotable. Just to kind of finalize this, we're ending our adventure here at Alexis Diner, basically having breakfast for a second dinner. If you haven't been able to tell already, we're having a great time just doing our thing. I mean, it's pretty clear to see. Even Anne Frank can see it. It's not a line from the movie.
We could also say that there are people in the film and the characters that are in there. We can recognize people in our real lives who are being imitated by.
Yes. I'm actually glad you said that because that reminds me of something I wanted to say earlier in an earlier segment I forgot. Now I remember now, so I better say it now and get it in here. It's that last week I met up with Greg's family and a couple of friends of Greg's family for a lunch. And we were talking about how we were planning to go see this movie tonight. And Greg's mom's friend had said that she had seen the first film numerous times. And her comment was that, based on knowing us and that film, that we should have been in that film. And I definitely take that, A, as a compliment, and B, it's definitely true to form. I think one of the things that makes me gravitate towards Kevin Smith's movies, besides that they're great, is that I can easily see myself being part of that clique of people that Kevin Smith has, both on and off camera, actually. Again, great time. After this, I don't know, we're just gonna head back to sunny Monticello, I guess, and we'll probably BS for a little bit too. You know how it is when best friends get together. It's like, oh yeah, I should be home by 10:30 at night. Next thing you know, it's like 3 in the morning, and then your dog is mad at you because you left her alone for like 9 hours. But that's a day in the life on a Saturday for Double R Starr. I'm going to end this segment with just kind of waxing on a line that was told by Rando. He had actually said that, talking about his job as a clerk. This job would be great if it wasn't for the customers. I'm going to add to that and say, well, if those customers were the viewers watching this video right now, there wouldn't even be a point in making the movie because you guys are great and you make this job not be a job. So thanks again for that, and thanks for watching. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and stalk. Laters.